Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. It is early, about 5 a.m. right now, and we are getting ready for a road trip. So, it's going to be a fun one today. My buddy from Revamped EVs, we are heading out today to Gate City, Virginia. We are taking his Tesla Model Y from here in Myrtle Beach up to Gate City. So we have a little bit of a road trip in front of us, probably I think it's about 8 hours or so to get there. And so we have a little bit of a road trip today. Today is Good Friday, and we don't know exactly what the plans are for the entire trip. We might be getting there in one day and back in one day, or we'll be taking 2 days to do this trip. We're not sure yet, but it is going to be a bit of a trip. So I'm just waiting for him to pick me up. He should be showing up right back there in just a few minutes, and then we will be heading out to Gate City, Virginia for the day. So as soon as he gets here, we'll take a look at the map, see what our plans are for the day, see how long it's going to take us, and then we'll kind of just see how the adventure is. Hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's early, I hate you.
Let's go.
Let's go. Just a quick detour, but this is the reason we're going out to Virginia right here. Hopefully have some future videos on this. But we are going out there because we need to go pick up the rest of the front end that was sent out there to be adjusted and fixed and redone, and this is going to be pretty sweet when it's done. Just a little surprise sneak peek of the car here. But we'll do a nice video, long video on this in the future. Quarter after 5 right now. We just reset the trip odometer, so we got a couple of mild discrepancy, but it'll be close enough. Looks like we are heading out to, once again, Gate City, Virginia. So at this moment, we're sitting about 79% state of charge. Wants us to stop in Florence, which I probably would disagree with, actually. I think we can make it to Columbia, but we're going to do this calculation in a few minutes here. And then it looks like Hendersonville once, and then there is our destination. So really not too bad of a trip for today. It says we'll get there around lunchtime today. So this looks like it could very well be a one-day trip. But yep, we're gonna keep on hauling here, wait for the sun to come up, and then we'll figure out some plans from there. In the meantime, we'll figure this routing out, and I'll let you know. Alright, so after taking a look at the map one more time here, we were trying to stretch it to Columbia, but unfortunately we would get there with only about 6%, and somebody wants to stop earlier because they're a little hungry. I'm not saying any names, I'm just saying that's what I've been told. So we are going to stop in Florence, then we'll stop in Columbia, and then we'll make it up to this one right up outside of Asheville here, as you can see here on the map. And we might make some adjustments as we go along, just to try to make this as efficient as possible. But that's our current plan. So we will do 3 stops: Florence, Columbia, and Asheville there. And sorry for the bumpiness. We're on a bridge right now. It's a bit bumpy. But anyway, we got a little bit ahead of us. Obviously, the sun has not come out yet. It's still early. So I guess it's going to be breakfast at Buc-ee's. Oh yeah, there's the Buc-ee's, everybody. That must mean we're in Florence, South Carolina. So let's just take a quick look at how we did here. So looks like we only did about 66 miles. We just got to do a quick top off here, 347 watt-hours per mile. We could take a look at pretty decent efficiency here, because most of it is pretty low speeds. Now we pulled into Buc-ee's here because, or this particular area, because look at this. I think these superchargers might be down. As you can see, the lights are off here on the superchargers, but that whole string over there seems to be on, so really interesting. Let's get it plugged in, Kevin. Let's see.
Not working?
Oh, they're not working?
The lights on?
Yeah, I just wanted to try them because I saw the lights are off. I was curious.
I tried all of them.
Ah, thanks, bud. Yep, so that is confirmed. So we actually do have some Tesla superchargers down. That guy in that red Model 3 over there just pointed to us and let us know that they're down. So yeah, that's funny. So yeah, here you go. Tesla superchargers, not as strong as everybody thinks they are. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead, as we can see here, clearly not working. So we're gonna go move over to the actual working stalls and see how they're going. All right, Kevin's got us plugged in now. Looks like we are actually starting to ramp up here. So looks like he locked me in the car. So we are ramping up. We're at 44%. So we're probably not going to do much more than about 100, 120 kilowatts right now. We don't need to be here very long. It says only 8 minutes for us to move on here. So let's go ahead and... All right, leaving Buc-ee's just after a short turn and burn there. So 63% state of charge. Now we're going to head off to Columbia, South Carolina. That should give us one of our last charges of the day. Only 3 total according to this. So Columbia next. Hendersonville, unless we decide to go somewhere else in between, depending on how lunch works out. And then up to just over the border into Virginia. So we'll be up there hopefully early afternoon out on the road.
Oh, we hit 30. Here we go. Missed it.
All right, well, we are on the road. The sun is out, and Kevin and I just realized that we hit 30,000 on his Model Y. So, yay, 30,000. Warranty's almost gone. So we're at 53 miles into this current drive at 382 watt-hour per mile, mainly because we're just on the highway cruising along right here. So as we can see, our consumption's looking pretty decent right now. It's yelling at us to stay below 70 would have saved us 3%. 3.9 mile per hour wind from the northeast cost almost 2% this trip. And increased climate control activity, air drag, tire drag, battery conditioning cost us 0.4%. Climate control, I wonder whose fault that could be. But anyway, we're still cruising down the road right now. We're going to be doing pretty good, getting into Columbia with an estimated 14%. So we got plenty of buffer to burn. And then from there, we got to figure out what we want to do. And here's the one thing that's going to be weird. So we get over here into Hendersonville, and then let me show you this real quick. Let me jump into add stop charging, and you can see that here we have some chargers here in the Asheville area, which is fine. But once we get north of there, we don't really have many options as far as charging. We get into Gate City, and we can see there's really nothing there. There's some chargers over here in Bristol, which are off the beaten path a little bit. Looking at PlugShare, there are some CCS chargers around here, but nothing off this major Route 26 corridor. So we do have some thinking to do here, that maybe when we get to Asheville, we do a charge up. That should be enough, about 93 to 95 miles between that Asheville charger and Gate City, which means we would have to stretch it all the way there and possibly back almost 200 miles. And yeah, that's an option. If not, we can always reroute to Bristol for a little bit, go a slightly different way back, or we could stop at a CCS charger, or whatever we determine to do later on. We'll determine how we feel for the afternoon side of this trip. But that's where we're currently at. At least it's good to see the sun out. Beautiful day. Going to be pretty warm today. It's 38. Holy moly. It got colder. It's supposed to be warm today. I think it's supposed to be in the mid-60s today, so hopefully we'll be warming up. No wonder we're burning so much energy out here. But yeah, so we are going to keep on rolling. right, made it to Columbia, South Carolina. Been here multiple times. 14% state of charge, did pretty good. 93 miles, 376 watt-hour per mile, so did all right. Taking a look at our graph, that's some Kevin driving for you. And yeah, so we're gonna charge up here real quick, and then we got our next stop somewhere in Asheville. We haven't decided if we're gonna do this particular one or if we're gonna go to a different charger or whatever the case may be. Wherever there's good lunch is basically where we're stopping next. So we're gonna go ahead and charge up and then head on out and then figure out our plans for, well, after the Asheville charger, which is the stretch all the way up to Gate City, Virginia there. So let's go ahead and get the car plugged in and see what we pull now that we're at low state of charge. And Kevin, remind me again, this is a 22, right? 2022.
Yeah, 22.
Ramping up, here we are, 92, 127 kilowatt. There we go. Almost 200. Come on, let me see 250. This should be very similar to our Model 3 performance that we have. 258! Holy moly! Really, really cool to see that. That is amazing speeds right here. Look at it, it's holding it. It is holding 258. 258, 258. There it is, now it's starting to taper down. Wow, that was a pretty good stretch for that 258 kilowatts. Amazing. As you can see, it's about 46 degrees, so we did precondition a little bit on our way here. But we're gonna go ahead and run someplace really quick maybe and go from there. Okay, just looking at our current map situation here. So we are in Columbia, South Carolina once again. We are needing to make this trip up to Asheville, North Carolina, that area. So it looks like we got about 138 miles of distance to cover. And it says right now at 75% state of charge, we will get there at around 6%. But it still wants us to build a 7 more minutes of buffer here. So I think what we're going to do is probably give it a few more minutes. Now we're up to 7% arrival. I think we're going to be pretty good to leave here in a few more minutes. I don't think we need to wait the whole time. But yeah, so our biggest thing here is when we get to Asheville, how we're going to get from Asheville to Kingsport, Virginia, and then possibly back to Asheville, which this is a almost 200-mile round trip. So either we have to take it real slow, or we're going to have to go over to Bristol and stop there for a charge. So we got to kind of play that game when we get to Asheville, figure out what we want to do, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, I think we are about ready to unplug and get going here. So let's go ahead and see you on the road. All right, so we had to sit here a little longer because Kevin was working on some work stuff. He's out there right now unplugging his car, or just about to get there. And we are now at, come on, come back. Okay, 46 degrees outside, so we are warming up a little bit. And we got about a 14% buffer to Asheville, so that seems to be the number of the day. There's 14%. So we are heading out right now, getting up Route 26, as you can see here, all the way to Asheville. We'll get there, what it says, around 10:46. Wow, still really early. And yeah, we'll continue our trip from there. So goodbye, Columbia, and hello, North Carolina, soon. Alright, cruising through some construction zones right now up Route 26. So we're looking at the map here and seeing our options. So this is where the Tesla wants us to stop, here on the south end of Asheville, North Carolina. But I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to stretch it up to this one here, just because, whoa, lots of bumps here, just because there seems to be some better opportunities for food. And so we're going to go to these two superchargers, which just happen to be basically down the street from each other. And it'll be a little bit closer to our destination, which means if we do need to do that whole up and back in one charge, this will be a good opportunity for us to stop, take our time, get some lunch, and then we could charge up the car enough to do the there and back and not have to worry about range so much. Once again, we do have our options up here in Bristol as bailouts and a couple of random CCS chargers, providing Kevin packed the CCS adapter. We can do that as well. So we're just going to go ahead and change to this one instead. We're going to say yes, go there. We're going to, I'm forgetting how we do this. Let's get rid of that charger. I think we got to put that up there. We hit done, and then we recalculate. Now it was saying about 15% to the one charger, and now it doesn't believe we're going to make it to that other Asheville charger. I tend to disagree. So what we're going to do is adjust this here, and nope, come back, and we're going to hit remove, and I think that should be good. And yep, so that says there. Make sure we got the right one. Yep, that's correct. All right, awesome. So now it says we're going to get there in just about 2 hours, going up Route 26, 132 miles from our current location at 8%, plenty of buffer, gets us down low in the pack so we get maximum speeds when we plug in, and then as we start to hit the top of the battery, we'll slow down, and we'll hopefully be putting some food in our face at the same time. So we're going to head over there right now. Looks like it wants us to kind of do this loop around Asheville, which we will agree with. And then we have to figure out how we're going to do this last part here. All right, see you out there. All right, so it looks like we're coming around the loop around Greenville right now, as we can see, and well, we'll be in a little bit here, but yep, so we got to come around to Asheville to this charger over here. Wow, could this road be any more unstable? And it says right now we're gonna get to about 11% state of charge, which is perfect. So as soon as we make this loop around Asheville and come around, we'll go ahead and get it plugged in and get some lunch. Been a beautiful day, 55 degrees out right now. A little bit of traffic out here, but a lot of bit of construction as well. So going a little slower, which is why our efficiencies are looking pretty good, as you can see from this graph right here, all in the green. So we're gonna get there with a little bit more projection than originally anticipated. So yep, looking good, and looking forward to getting to Virginia sometime today. All right, made it to our next stop here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right, so we are here in Asheville, North Carolina now, and we are looking to get plugged in at 12% state of charge. Let's take a look. 333 watt-hour per mile, so exactly 3 miles per kilowatt hour on 153 miles. Looks really good. And yep, so we are at the supercharger here on the eastern side of Asheville, North Carolina. And let's go ahead and throw in our next supercharger here, or excuse me, our next destination and see how it wants us to get there. All right, so now we do have to get from here in Asheville all the way up and potentially all the way back. So that is kind of our goal for now. So we're just going to sit here, plug in, basically just charge up as much as we possibly need to. It's an 89-mile trip there, so we're going to need close to 190 miles, 180 miles to get there and back. So, but once again, we do have our Bristol way that we could go that will save us in the event that we can't make it back. So we'll be charging up here for a while. We're going to get some lunch. Pretty nice area to have a place to charge up your Tesla, and then we'll be back on the road shortly. Poor guy over here is trying to plug in his Hyundai to the Tesla supercharger. I feel like I need the help. Just had a nice conversation with the gentleman over here. He pulled up his Hyundai Ioniq 5 to the supercharger, pulled out an adapter, was seeing if he could charge here on the Tesla superchargers. Went over to him, kind of explained to him what's going on. He was really cool about it, just was curious to see if it would work, and I told him the difference between the AC and the DC charging and how Hyundai will eventually get access to the Tesla supercharger network, but not quite yet. And so we talked for about 15 or 20 minutes. Really nice guy. He's going to be a new subscriber to the channel, so really nice to meet him. But here we are. Kevin right now, he's in the car. He's on a meeting. He is getting his work stuff out of the way so we could get on the road. So we're going to be here a lot longer than initially anticipated. So we'll probably be here to almost 100% charge, as long as we keep some stalls open here for everybody else to use. I don't really see that being an issue. So we're going to probably have enough juice to get all the way up to Gate City, Virginia, as previously mentioned, and then we'll be coming back down probably to this supercharger, or probably one of the ones around the Asheville, North Carolina area. Had a really nice lunch at the Chick-fil-A just up here somewhere, and yeah, just kind of hanging out. Beautiful weather right now, probably in the 60s. So really looking forward to getting back on the road as soon as Kevin's done with his meeting. All right, Kevin's finally done with his meeting. 98% state of charge. That's enough to get us there and back. Hopefully. All right, ready to go, Kevin? All right. Unplugging. Put it back up. Get back in the car. Busy supercharger. There's also another one across on the other side of the parking lot as well. I guess everybody likes this one, though. Cruising through the hills of Tennessee / North Carolina, and really getting some beautiful views out here. But a really beautiful view is this map. That's a joke. But anyway, we got about the halfway mark from our charger to the actual site here in what is it called again? Gate City, Virginia. So as you can see, there's the border of Virginia right there. So just over the border into Virginia. And right now it's showing that we're going to get there with 62%, so plenty of charge to get back to the Asheville area if we need to do that. So yeah, and as you can see from this here, we can see some huge elevation gains, and then also some elevation dips as well. So we're actually getting some juice back as we go down, but as you can see, we got a little bit off of the beaten path there as far as the efficiency estimates go there. So yeah, we're just gonna keep on cruising. We got plenty of buffer to get there and back anyway, and we'll see you when we get there. All right, just a quick update. Made it to the place. Some really cool Volkswagens here. Got a bus or two and a couple bugs. Really cool. So kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, let's go inside and grab Kevin's part here. All right, had a really awesome time kind of touring around this place. What was this place called again?
Valley Autowerks.
Valley Autowerks. So they do only Volkswagen stuff, if you could not tell that. But really cool guys. Father-son shop, just working on Volkswagens all day long. That's really cool to see. But anyway, we're gonna be heading back right now, so it looks like we got a little bit of a trip to get to past Asheville. Actually wants us to get all the way down to Henderson now, so that'll be our first stop. So this way we didn't have to worry about kind of going off the path to get anywhere. And then Columbia, and then home. And it says we'll be home by 9 o'clock tonight. All right. It's a long day, but it was well worth it. We got the beam in the back, and yeah, so we're gonna be ready for that. So yeah, we just left Valley Autowerks here in Virginia there, and so we're heading back now. And so I'm sure a lot of people are like watching the video going, hey, I don't know what that thing is, or I don't know what it's for. And so Kevin here, you might have seen him in little spurts of some previous videos. So Kevin is Revamped EV. Basically, you are the owner, creator, building Revamped EV, right?
So they tell me.
So they tell you. So this is actually one of his project cars that he's working on right now. So you have a 63 Beetle.
Yep.
That you've had in the family for a while.
Yeah, about 10 years or so.
Yep, so your parents had this car for a while, and due to issues with the car, you decided to completely redo it from scratch. Revamping it. There
we go.
And turning it into an electric vehicle. So really kind of a cool thing. So just real quickly, like, because we don't want to give everything away, because there's going to be a future video as we tease more about the car, and then once the car gets pretty much up and running, we're going to do a full video, full interview about the car. So we were here today to get the front beam, as you call it, of the car, which is one of the main parts that we need to get the car to sit back on the ground again, basically. So right now you're working on this 63 Beetle, and tell us a little bit about, like, what are you doing with the Beetle? How does this connect to your business of Revamped EV? Like, what's your inspiration behind all this as we slam on the brakes because of a lane being closed up the road here? Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, it's all the way back here too.
Interview detour.
And we are going to take a short break as we. Okay, so basically, what was the motivation behind, you know, changing the car, and what does this car mean for, you know, Revamped EV for you and for your company?
Sure. So this is going to be our flagship vehicle, the first iteration of converting classic vehicles to electric drivetrains, with the mission of preserving older vehicles that may be more fun to drive, cars that tend to have more character, bring people a lot of joy, or have a lot of memories attached to them. People may have had these cars for 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years, family heirlooms, or just cars that have more classic styling, and keeping them running on modern propulsion systems and ways that are more sustainable, and ultimately they're a hell of a lot more fun to drive when they're electric.
Yes.
You get a lot more power out of an electric Volkswagen Beetle than you do a gasoline powered one. Stock, they have 20 or 40 horsepower or something like that, and right. Electric you have a little bit more than that.
A little bit, yeah.
It's instant torque, so changes the dynamic of it. And for some of these older cars that are a little bit more difficult to drive, maintenance is harder to keep up. So when you walk out to that garage and you want to take your car on a Sunday cruise, when's the last time you adjusted the carburetor, or is it going to start? You need to tweak it a little bit. They can be finicky to maintain, whereas with electric vehicles, a lot of the time, as long as it's charged and your systems are operating the way they should, you can walk out to your car, flip your ignition, and then off you go. So really it's about getting people back behind the wheel of those cars that brought a lot of joy and happy emotions when you're driving them, keeping that going in a modern way.
That's a rocket in the windshield.
Another
one today. Yeah, and I think it's a lot to say about that, in the sense that for certain people, owning an older car can be overwhelming, and there's a big barrier there, because you usually have to be more mechanically inclined to know what you're doing on an older vehicle.
Sure.
Because like you said, if it's a carbureted vehicle, well, you gotta, fix your carburetors every once in a while, clean them out, maintain them. This is on top of all the typical oil changes and other, lubrications that may need on an older vehicle. And so that can be a barrier for people to want to keep older cars, and possibly even a way for, like, people want to just get rid of them. Like, it's too much work. I spend more time working on it than I do enjoying it. And
Sure.
This is a really good way of being able to have a relatively maintenance-free vehicle that you can enjoy as little or as much as you want. And the only thing you ever have to really do to it is make sure you plug it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a little bit of a special skill set to maintain electric vehicles. You still do have components they need to know how to work around. But if you look at it from a maintenance standpoint, or a what could go wrong standpoint, there's a lot less moving parts.
Right.
And the systems are the same spec-wise, kind of from a small electric scooter to an RC car to a big car, a full-size Tesla or a full-size 63 Volkswagen Bug. The logic is the same. So if you understand the way one system works, that translates very well to larger scale. And if you can figure out how to work on one/maintain, you can figure it out with an electric car also.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a big RC car is basically what it comes
Sure.
down to, the grand scheme of things. And this is not something that people necessarily do to have the most efficient car or to drive very far. Most people who have classic cars usually keep them within a small bubble. They don't really necessarily road trip them, hundreds of miles a week. It's normally something they take out for the weekend, maybe go to a car show, or take it out to a friend's house or something like that. So you're not really worried about the huge electric range of these vehicles, or packing in so many batteries so you can have that extra range. And so in your vehicle, you're doing something with some Model S batteries. Is that what it is?
Yeah, 18650 Model S batteries.
Okay, so you're basically taking batteries that existed in a vehicle previously.
Yep.
And you're reutilizing those in a vehicle that you're building right now. So you're not buying brand new battery cells. You're actually recycling, or what do they call it? Upcycling, basically, something that's already been utilized. And this could have been from a car that was maybe totaled in an accident, or maybe a car that had other significant issues, but the battery was still healthy. And so you're just reutilizing what's already been built and manufactured. So you're not, building a whole new motor basically for the car, which is, a lot more work. So you're kind of reutilizing what you got. So then you have an electric motor that you bought for the car as well.
Yeah,
And
exactly. To your first point, Tesla, you may have heard of them. They also have a really well-funded R&D department, and they come up with designs for these things, and rather than try and reinvent the wheel, exactly like you said, upcycle from vehicles that are no longer roadworthy, like a crashed Model S or something like that, where while the car may be no longer operable, its components are still good. So taking those components and upcycling them into a new use, giving them new life, giving new life to an old car.
right.
New parts, old car. And motor is a NetGain Hybrid 9, also another US-based company, NetGain. They produce a couple of different models, but NetGain, Hybrid 9 rather, is one of their more popular models. That'll be the one going into the Beetle.
Cool. Well, that's just kind of a quick sneak peek of what Kevin's currently working on at Revamped EV. I'll have all his links down in the description below the video if you want to check out his website, and you can check out his social media. Follow him on there if you want to. I mean, it's really, really cool what he's working on over there. I check in every once in a while to see what's new and different in the garage, to see how far along it's come, but make sure you keep to the channel, and you can take a look. I'll post up in the corner up here, or maybe below in the description, I'll put a recent video of us taking the go-karts out to the track, where you took what used to be a gas go-kart, and then you basically just turned it into an electric go-kart. You put the electric motor on, got a battery manufactured for it, put it all together, and we took that out of the track, and that was also a ton of fun. And yeah, that was, I'm looking forward to doing that possibly myself. So you started my wife's gonna kill me after that.
Yeah, again, same principles.
Right.
The same principles apply to a golf cart, an electric go-kart, an electric car. So putting the theory in different packages and seeing what's more fun.
Yep, and that's what Revamped EV is all about. It's just taking what used to be one thing, converting it to electric platform, electric drivetrain, and continuing to enjoy exactly what it was before in a slightly different propulsion method. Pretty much, right?
Good way to put it.
Yeah, there you go. Anything you want to add?
Like, follow, subscribe, Tech Motoring.
Okay, thank you. Hey.
You don't even say it.
I don't have to. All right, cool. Well, we're getting back on the road right now, and yeah, once again, everything's in the description below. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, made it to Hendersonville, North Carolina with 12% state of charge, so plenty of buffer there. As you can see, we kind of drove down our efficiency a little bit on the way there. It looks like Kevin just went ahead and plugged in the car, so we should be cranking up pretty good right here and seeing some pretty good charging speeds. Let's go ahead and see what we ramp up to. This should be a version 3. Pretty nice installation here. They got a nice handicap accessible stall. They also got a nice pull-in stall here for those who want to tow a trailer with their, you know, Model Y or Model X. So really nice. They got some ones over there around the corner. So nice like wraparound installation here. You can see all the charging cabinets up here. So this is a pretty nice installation. Let's take a look at our charging speeds right now. 250, 200. I saw 251. So yep, that's pretty much expected at 13% state of charge. So we're gonna go ahead and hang out here for the charge, and then let's just take a quick look at what our next place is gonna be. So it wants us to go back to Columbia, South Carolina there. So back to, I'm pretty sure this is the same charger we stopped at on the way here. So we'll be back there in Columbia, and it's estimating we'll be there around 6 o'clock. So yeah, we'll be hitting that, and then we'll be heading home from there. So that'll be working out pretty well. And we'll be home hopefully a little after 9 o'clock tonight. Looking good. Well, looks like when we did a reset of the system, it decided to navigate us to a different Columbia, South Carolina supercharger. Unfortunately, it sent us to a level 2 charger. But here you can see the estimate to get here. So pretty good along that line there. Kevin just went ahead and plugged it back in again. Let's go ahead and see how the version 2s look. Got about, what is it, about 8 stalls here. It's looking pretty good so far. These look like a little bit beat up, a little bit old. You can see the old version 2 cabinets back there. We can take a closer look at those in a minute. But as we are starting to charge, because the handshake takes a little bit longer on these version 2 chargers. Let's see what we got here. 15, 20, keep going. And we should max out at around 150 kilowatts, maybe even a little bit less. 144, 143. Yep, that's usually what we see maxing out these version 2. All right, well, we're at 16% state of charge. Let's see what it's estimating as far as what we need to get back. So it says we got about a 25-minute charge time here to get back to Myrtle Beach. It's already 6:30, so we also got to think about maybe some food. And yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at, and we'll see you on the road after we're done charging. All right, making it back here. So we finished up that last part of the trip there with about 300 watt hour per mile there. And our whole day today, 814 miles, 259 kilowatt hours of energy, 319 watt hour per mile. So really nice efficiency. And yeah, so we are done. Long day. It's dark again, just like it was when we left this morning. All right, there goes Kevin taking off for the night. So we had a pretty fantastic time. All right, everybody, well, there's another road trip in the book. So we got to take a pretty long road trip today in Kevin's Model Y. Fantastic road tripping vehicle, really nice, very similar to the Model 3, just maybe a tad more comfortable over the bumps and whatnot. But yeah, over 800 miles in that car today, really good efficiencies, really comfortable, really overall just a nice vehicle to drive in for a very long time today. Left about 5 in the morning and got home 9:30 at night. So very long day today, traveled, but now he got his front beam for the Beetle that he is working on, so he's going to be converting that to electric, which is going to be really cool. So hopefully in the next few months we'll have a video about that vehicle as well, and yeah, we'll hopefully get to drive it and see how well that works. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching and following this road trip today, and of course all the road trips we have done. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you look back at some of those old road trips as well. So we have a ton of fun doing these videos for you. Anyway, thanks again very much for watching today's episode. Make sure you hit the like button below the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, welcome to the future. Welcome to Tech Motoring. We'll see you soon.